So when you're shooting with that severe angle, what are you doing
try to
here?
get your hands as far off as possible and kind of let the wrist do the work.
Okay. That works. Can't believe you missed one.
A lot of hours in the backyard.
Princeton Lacrosse, an established blue blood in the sport based on the 6 national championship trophies they hoisted in a span of 10 years. In the 1990s and the early 2000s, it became a powerhouse with a combination of cutting-edge defense and the game's most skilled offensive scorers.
Champions of 2001!
Jesse Hubbard became the king of finding the back of the net. 15 years later, it was Tom Schreiber who had an X on his back, followed by the dynamic playmaker in Michael Sowers. Now it's Coulter Mackesy's time, different from many of the Tiger greats before him.
Let's go, Black!
Yeah!
We got a 20-minute block right now, okay? We're going Q1, right out of the gate. Okay, do the little things, and the team's going to be great, all right? Let's have it there. Go. 1, 2, 3. Stick work.
What is it about Coulter Mackesy that makes him a great fit for you in this program?
You know, obviously him as a leader, you start personality top down. I think that, you know, our personalities sync up well. You know, I would describe him kind of as like a quiet killer, you know, but at the same time, like very thoughtful. Like as a leader, you've got to be able to connect with every guy on our team. And I think that's kind of one of his like secret superpowers, just being able to kind of touch everyone and have the immediate respect from everyone.
Yeah, Cole.
When I watch you play, there's a style to your game, and the foundation of that style is your shooting stroke. How'd you learn how to shoot the way you do?
I think it's pretty similar to a lot of players out there, just a lot of time spent, you know, in the backyard. Same backyard, same goal for about 15 years, but I grew up with a love for stringing sticks, so I would come home from school every day, string a stick, go outside and use it, restring it, repeat that same process multiple times, and then at one point I ended up buying a headlight because it got dark out, so the only thing I could do is, you know, get light outside. So I'd put this headlight on, keep shooting, and that kind of carried on for years when I just loved to go outside and shoot.
You were a nationally ranked squash player, #2 in the country at one point in high school. How did that sport influence your lacrosse game?
You know, I think I learned a lot of footwork and reaction times from squash, but also made tons of friends in the squash world. And I think I learned a lot about training and working hard.
Why lacrosse over squash?
I think the biggest thing that factored in was just the locker room environment and the team sport aspect of lacrosse. I think squash has a different team aspect to it, but kind of being on the field with 50 of your best friends is hard to turn down. I still play squash here and there, so I'll keep playing both for the rest of my life.
Toughness and grit, without a question, live within the way that you play. But if someone was to pick up the Princeton media guide and see Coulter Mackesy, Bronxville, Brunswick School, squash, they're not going to think you're the toughest guy. Like, where does that toughness come from?
I think it comes a lot from just how competitive I am. I was always the younger brother. My brother was also a stud athlete, great lacrosse player, great squash player. So everything I did was trying to beat him growing up. And most of my life, I never beat him. And same goes for my dad. I always tried to beat him in squash or golf or whatnot. And now I get it from my teammates too, because I see how much sacrifice they make for this team. And I'm just trying to repay what guys in the past have done for this program.
My goodness. Are you kidding me? It almost looks impossible.
Swim dodge. Lost his footing. Goes to goal and scores! Coulter Mackesy!
When I watch Coulter in your offense, I think of him as like the perfect fit. Why would that be the case?
You know, we break down our huddles: eat, effort, attitude, and toughness, which are all things that you have control of. And he has embodied that from day one.
And this is a typical eat play.
Yeah. Tough matchup. High school teammate, Charlie Johnson, outstanding defenseman covering him. It was a tough day at times to this point. And then to have the balance, skill, and poise to make that play, I do think represents his growth.
Wow! Oh my God, Jay. This is the goal of the year so far. Let's start with that.
One aspect that kind of jumps off the page with Coulter is his creativity. How would you describe that?
Yeah, I mean, I think his creativity really fits in with the offense. It's not I don't know that he's doing it to necessarily try new things. I think it's just to be impactful. Like this example here, he gets the goal line extended. The defender does a pretty good job of forcing him to a low angle.
Yeah, that's not right. There's nothing there to shoot at. That's insane. Stop right there. Look at that. Dude.
He was below goal line extended, right?
It sure seemed that he was.
So freshman year, not a lot of people knew about Coulter Mackesy on the college level. What was, you think, his coming out party?
It was probably the Rutgers game in 2022.
Yeah, let's see it.
Sure.
Very similar offenses. Coulter Mackesy, he's got 4.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah, that's a corner.
Bench.
He doesn't have this space anymore coming out of dodges.
No, that's probably one of the last times he was intentionally short-sticked.
My goodness.
Are you kidding me? Coulter Mackesy, freshman.
What's your favorite goal you've ever scored? Like if you could show, I don't know, if a girl asked you one day, are you good at lacrosse? And she said you could only show me one clip, what would you show her?
It's hard not to pick the Rutgers one from freshman year.
The lefty, low to high, flick of the wrist, find your upper 90, and beat the senior goalie.
When I dissect players, I always think of something that makes them unique. Yours is your shooting stroke. Why is it unique?
Traditional lacrosse players might be taught, overhand. Like if you play club ball and you shoot sidearm, you'll hear parents say overhand.
Yeah.
But I think in this modern day of lacrosse, like underhand and sidearm is fundamental now. And I think especially from low angles and shooting around defenders, extending your hands and getting as much buying as much angle as you can with your stick is really important and should become fundamental for most players. So growing up, I would just hang out in the low alley and try to hit no angle shots for as long as I could and test my accuracy.
So when you're shooting with that severe angle, what are you doing
try to
here?
get your hands as far off as possible and kind of let the wrist do the work.
Okay. That works.
And then if you can kind of feel comfortable from here, then every step you take above the cage, you're looking at more net. So I just try to do this for accuracy and also in cases when you need to shoot around a defender and buy yourself some angle.
Can't believe you missed one.
A lot of hours in the backyard.
So for you, your outside shot, what's critical?
In order to fool the goalie, I can't shoot 100, 105 miles per hour like some of the bigger guys. So I got to work a lot to get the ball past the goalie with deception and accuracy. I try to use my shoulders and how high my body is. If I want to kind of shoot near side top right, a lot of what I'll do with my body is lower my shoulder and lower my aiming point to that bottom left corner and keep it there until the last second. You kind of, like a golf swing, kind of sweep up to the right corner.
So the deception from a goalie's perspective, they look at your foot and your shoulder and they think you're going far lower corner.
Yeah, try to.
You'll give it to them the opposite.
Kind of use your eyes, your body, and your shoulders to like tell a story.
Yep.
And then at the last second, you try to use your wrists to get it to the top corner.
So your foot, your shoulder, and your eyes are telling a story that's going lower corner.
Yeah.
But you're actually shooting to the opposite corner.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And then I also grew up like using a lot of different sticks, so I think I learned a bunch of different like release points.
Yep.
And that also helps me. Like, I think that another part of deception is a quick release. And so wherever I catch the ball, I kind of want to get it out from there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to catch, like, maybe you get a bad pass down here. I don't want to take the extra second to bring it back up to that sweet spot.
No wasted time, no wasted movement.
Exactly. So I think, like, if this is a clock, you want to, wherever you catch it on the clock, you want to be able to release it from. If there's one thing young players could take away is ball in and out of your stick.
One more at a little lower. Man. Oh, that'll work. That'll work. That will work.
Here's Mackesy, hands free, and he's got his second.
Who's great at the outside shot? Coulter Mackesy.
What a shot to the opposite corner.
Face-off win for Princeton. They go right to goal! Coulter Mackesy!
Catch the ball, lefty. Get it out of your stick, quick.
Last time I was here doing a through X, it was with Michael Sowers. I want to see it full speed. It's too much.
Yeah,
I was able to run in the beginning.
yeah. I was dancing. Don't dance.
If you had a message to Michael, what would you say right now?
Don't dance.
Don't dance? What would you say?
Don't dance.
Don't dance. Don't dance.
Don't dance.
Don't dance.
Meanwhile, he's the king dancer.
I wish I had his dancing feet.
Don't dance.
Nate, what do you think of 91? What do you think of that number?
I like it.
You like it?
It's unique. Something that people will remember him by, I think.
How in the world did you ever pick that number?
Comes from my Canadian blood. My dad's Canadian, grew up in Canada. Big hockey number, big hockey family.
What was his number?
He liked 19, so
That was
19
my
was
number in college. You should
Vardaro.
have stuck with 19.
Yeah, Vardaro had it at the time, but it was the first year Princeton was over 50, so
Yeah.
wanted to
Blaze your own trail.
start something new, yeah.
That works. For my money, you two are the best combination wing shooters in the country. From a training and practice perspective, how do you keep this thing going?
Yeah, I think one of our like pillars of our offense, our money ball offense, is fireball, where a lot of it's just like you want to shoot your passes. A lot of it's confidence, and a lot of it's getting the ball through the defense. And you know, we have to fire the ball back and forth. And so a lot of times when we're practicing and messing around, we'll just sit in our kind of our shooting spots and just whip the ball back and forth to each other, and then we'll kind of give each other a head nod when it's their turn to shoot. Try to use a bunch of different releases so defenders can't get sticks in the way.
So the different releasing points as a passer kind of take away the ability for a defender to knock the ball down.
Yeah, a lot of defenders are getting good at getting their lasts, is what we call it, where it's kind of that last ditch effort with their stick to get a nugget. So you, as a passer, you got to do the same thing as a shooter and mix up those release points.
I mean, these guys are ridiculous. I mean, Coulter has one of the sweetest strokes I've ever seen. It's literally like magic. Nate is about as two-handed of an attackman from a wing shooting perspective that I've seen probably since Ryan Brown when he was at Hopkins. Nate, show me that funky stuff where you catch the ball on the other side of your head and you shoot lefty. I mean, that's ridiculous. Like, this is just, that's ridiculous.
That was nasty.
This is ridiculous.
I can't do that. It's automatic.
Give him another one. I don't think he's missed one.
Oh, that's a bad pass.
One more.
Gotta get behind the ear.
Oh, how spoiled is Jim Mitchell? When I look at you on the surface, I think of a super bright young man, tremendous athlete in 2 sports, in squash and lacrosse. I think like things are easy for you. What's hard?
I think a lot of things are hard. I think being vocal. I'm still probably not vocal enough as a senior. It's kind of been a struggle of mine since freshman year. Part of it's maybe confidence, part of it's maybe not knowing what to say in the right time, but I think just pushing myself to be confident in what I've learned and in kind of what I know.
You're on the doorstep of being the most prolific goal scorer in program history.
Grab that ball. That's the tire.
What does this all mean to you?
I think it's just a testament to everyone who's helped me throughout my career, and right now the priority is winning a national championship, and none of the kind of personal accolades really matter right now, but I think that'll take care of itself if this team achieves what it wants to achieve, and I think that's a national championship.